The phenomenon of abrupt and absolute vanishing is perhaps the most unsettling conflict the human mind must confront. It is an emptiness that defies physics, a void that exists where a perfectly formed life once thrived, and it leaves behind not the tragedy of a sudden stop, but the agonizing infinity of a question mark. This is the profound, enduring legacy of Arthur Finch, a man who, in the span of a single evening, ceased to exist within the known parameters of reality, leaving a case so meticulously clean, so unerringly final, that it remains the benchmark for inexplicable disappearance. The space he occupied was not merely vacated, it was surgically removed from the fabric of the community, leaving an environmental scar that time has failed to fade. The Finch case became, almost immediately, a crucible. It tested the limits of institutional dedication, challenging law enforcement to innovate beyond known methodologies. It became a powerful testament to the unwavering hope of a community that refused to let go, demonstrating that even in the face of absolute silence, the human commitment to truth and memory can burn brighter than any conventional light. This is not simply the record of an unsolved mystery, it is an inspirational chronicle of perseverance, an academic study in resilience, demanding that we find meaning and motivation not in the closure of an answer, but in the relentless, unwavering effort of the search itself. Arthur Finch was not a footnote, he was the bedrock of Ethelgard's modern architectural identity. A visionary in urban planning, his designs were renowned for their commitment to sustainability and human connection. He was a man of precise habits, meticulous scheduling, and unblemished integrity. At 52, he was at the apex of his professional and personal life, deeply devoted to his philanthropic ventures and his small, close circle of family. On the evening of October 12, 1998, Arthur was scheduled to review the final blueprints for the city's landmark public library, a project he considered his most significant contribution to the soul of Ethelgard. He departed his 14th floor office at 7 o'clock, the security camera footage confirming his customary demeanor, brief, focused, and purposeful. The descent was ordinary. The subsequent 3 blocks, however, housed the terminus of his known existence. His car, a dark sedan, was found locked and parked flawlessly in a municipal lot 3 blocks from his office, directly across from the subway entrance he never used. The vehicle was pristine. Nothing was missing, nothing was disturbed. His briefcase lay in the passenger seat, containing the library blueprints and his wallet, complete with cash and identification. The scene presented no evidence of struggle, no forced entry, no signs of distress, and perhaps most critically, no explanation. Just silence, absolute, cold, and profoundly confusing. It was the vanishing act perfected. This immediate lack of physical evidence generated the core open loops that continue to haunt investigators today. The first, a brief 3-minute phone call logged precisely at 7:05 p.m., moments after he left his office. The number was untraceable, a burner phone that was never activated again. What was said in those 3 minutes, and who possessed the knowledge or power to orchestrate such a swift, untraceable communication, remains the most tantalizing fragment of the puzzle. The second, his daily planner, usually filled weeks in advance with meticulous precision, was found open to the date of the disappearance, but the 3 pages immediately following were surgically blank. Was this a deliberate clearing of the slate, a pre-planned void, or a cruel final editorial by an unknown third party intent on erasing his future? The absence of these answers provided the immediate fuel for speculation and the long-term challenge for resolution. The initial investigation, led by Detective Marcus Harding, became an unprecedented mobilization of resources. Every surveillance camera within a 3-mile radius was seized and analyzed frame by frame, a process that took months in the pre-digital era of the late 90s. Canine units scoured every acre of the adjacent Ethelgard forest, a dense, ancient wood known for its isolating geography. Divers searched the municipal reservoir. Every known associate, business rival, and passing acquaintance was interviewed and re-interviewed. The search parameters were expanded from minutes to hours, from blocks to counties, yet Arthur Finch remained completely invisible. The frustrating pattern interrupt in the investigation was the absolute lack of a digital footprint post, 7:05 p.m. A man of Arthur's prominence, accustomed to constant communication, simply dropped off the grid without sending a single text, email, or accessing a bank account. The case defied every established pattern of voluntary and involuntary disappearance. He was not experiencing financial distress, his firm was thriving. He had no known mental health crises or secret family conflicts. There was no evidence of foul play in the immediate environment. Investigators pursued the red herring of the runaway CEO, meticulously reviewing his global assets, but found every financial ledger in order, every account untouched. They then pivoted to the possibility of espionage or kidnapping, given his high-profile designs, but there was never a ransom note, never a demand, never a leak. The dedication of the investigative team, particularly Detective Harding, became the true inspirational centerpiece of this tragedy. Harding treated the case not as a static file, but as a living entity, dedicating his next 2 decades to its slow, often disheartening pursuit. His tireless commitment exemplified the belief that every life holds inherent worth and demands accountability, regardless of the odds. He saw Arthur's vanishing not as a dead end, but as a test of collective human ingenuity. This unwavering commitment is what transforms the Finch case from mere cold statistic into an enduring legend. Even when the official allocation of resources dwindled, a painful but inevitable phase, the spirit of the search remained fiery. Arthur's family established the Finch Foundation, dedicated not to finding Arthur specifically, but to funding innovative forensic technology that could aid all cold cases, channeling their personal agony into universal good. The absence of one man became the catalyst for helping thousands. This case, therefore, is not merely a record of unanswered questions. It is a monument to human commitment, to the resilience of hope, and the profound ethical demand that we never stop seeking truth, even when the truth seems deliberately obscured by impossible circumstances. The motivational force here lies in the refusal to accept the silence as finality. Years passed, the seasons turning over the city Arthur had helped build. Then came the devastating near miss, a moment of acute focus that only intensified the mystery. Nearly 8 years after the disappearance, during a routine structural integrity check of the foundation of the old municipal hall, a structure designed by Arthur 3 decades prior, a single inexplicable item was discovered lodged deep within a concrete supporting beam: Arthur's signet ring. It was a heavy gold ring, personalized with his family crest, a piece he wore daily. The discovery location was geographically nonsensical. It was hundreds of miles from Ethelgard, in an area Arthur had not visited in decades. The ring showed no signs of weathering or recent manipulation. It had clearly been placed there before the concrete cured, perhaps 30 years earlier. This was the great, cruel revelation, a piece of intimate evidence found in a place of his own making, a silent, symbolic whisper from the past that utterly negated the known timeline of his disappearance. It solved nothing, but it fundamentally altered the psychological profile of the case. Did the signet ring found in the foundation represent a final, deeply symbolic act of a person who knew their time was ending, a message encoded in architecture? Or was it planted, a profoundly theatrical misdirection designed to send investigators chasing a ghost of his past rather than the reality of his present? The ring, instead of closing loops, became the ultimate open loop, demonstrating that Arthur Finch was a man who contained multitudes, perhaps secrets, that even his closest confidants could not fathom. The realization was both crushing and inspiring. The complexity of the human spirit ensures that no investigation, no matter how exhaustive, is truly complete. Arthur Finch's disappearance shattered our comfortable understanding of urban security and personal accountability. It demonstrated that even in the most controlled environments, absolute vanishing is possible. Yet, perhaps more importantly, it affirmed the unbreakable nature of the bonds he created and the sheer tenaciousness of those left behind. The quest for Arthur Finch continues not because of the sensationalism of the mystery, but because the life he led demands respect and resolution. His case stands as a powerful reminder that while the darkness of the unknown can consume individuals, it can also illuminate the extraordinary dedication of humanity to fight against that very oblivion. Let the enduring mystery of Arthur Finch not be a source of despair, but a continuous source of inspiration. Let the dedication of Detective Harding, the persistence of the Finch Foundation, and the collective memory of Ethelgard serve as a beacon. We must internalize the lessons of resilience this case offers, using the frustration of the unanswered question as the impetus for deeper analytical thinking, unwavering empathy, and relentless pursuit of knowledge. The case no one can forget demands our continued attention, compelling us to contribute to the greater societal mission of bringing light to every shadow.